This is Valley News Live at 4.
We begin with breaking news this afternoon. The Carrington Police Department is investigating the death of an infant. Carrington ambulance and police officers responded to an in-home daycare on Monday for a report of an unresponsive 5-month-old. The parents of the boy tell us that his name is Reed. He was airlifted to Fargo, where he later died. No other information is available, as this is an ongoing investigation by Carrington Police and the North Dakota Bureau of Criminal Investigation. And we also have breaking news out of the Spirit Lake Indian Reservation. 2 people are dead after a stabbing in Fort Totten last night, and the FBI tells us that there are multiple other victims. Now, witnesses tell Valley News Live it happened near the SL housing units in the 200 block of Dakota Drive. Officials say a preliminary investigation indicates it is an isolated incident and there is no danger to the public. And Florida's governor is calling Hurricane Ian a 500-year flood event. The powerful Category 4 storm made landfall in the southwestern part of the state, causing catastrophic destruction. It is now a tropical storm, but it is still wreaking havoc across parts of central and eastern Florida. Christian Benavides has the latest from Orlando.
Sanibel Island streets looked like rivers the day after the southwestern Florida community took a direct hit from Hurricane Ian. The powerful storm caused flooding and fires and destroyed a chunk of the causeway, cutting off access to the barrier island.
It got hit with really biblical storm surge, and it washed away roads, it washed away structures.
Nearby Fort Myers also suffered widespread devastation. Downtown business owners surveyed the damage. Storm surge flooded the entire first floor of Wink TV, the CBS affiliate in Fort Myers, knocking the station off the air. State officials say the next couple of days are going to be critical for response teams, and they are urging people not to survey the damage themselves.
Let the crews get in there, do what they need to do. We're coming in full force. We've got a lot of people coming in there. We need you out of our way so we can get our job done.
While no longer a hurricane, the storm is far from over. In St. Augustine on the east coast, heavy winds and storm surge pummeled the beach community. In Kissimmee, rescue crews brought a trapped family to safety.
They were just holding the baby. Somebody was standing on top of the dining room holding them up. But the water is at least halfway up the house.
Residents along Georgia's coast are getting ready for Ian.
We got all of our bags the last few days.
Oh, wow.
And we're putting sump pumps in now.
Georgia's governor says while the state will be affected, the damage isn't expected to be nearly as bad as the destruction in Florida. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Orlando, Florida.
The National Hurricane Center says there is a danger of life-threatening storm surge through Friday along the coast of Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. And as of right now, the NFL game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be taking place at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. NFL officials made the announcement today. Now, the NFL did choose U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis as a contingency plan in case the game needed to be moved. And for a look at where Ian is now and the strength it is regaining, let's check in with forecaster Summer Schnellbach with a closer look. Summer, what can you tell us?
Thanks so much, Bobby. This is a very, very powerful storm after it made landfall near Cayo Costa in Florida as that Category 4. I want to point out the radar estimated precipitation, so the amount of rain that fell with this hurricane. This doesn't include storm surge. Estimated rainfall amounts of between 15 and nearly 20 inches of rain. That will do some damage and some destruction. Let's take a look at where Ian is right now. Has moved out of the state of Florida for the most part, now moving back into the Atlantic waters where it's warmer. Currently a tropical storm with winds around 70 miles per hour, gusting to 85, moving still slowly at the north-northeast at 9 miles per hour. But Ian is expected to re-intensify later tonight and into tomorrow morning, back into a Category 1 hurricane and move up towards South Carolina, right near the Charleston area by tomorrow afternoon before pressing in back inland and developing into that tropical storm. Closer to home, we've had a beautiful day. It's been breezy. You saw in the sky cam a moment ago the shake to the camera again, but temperatures in the 60s and 70s. 63 in Bemidji, 68 Detroit Lakes, a nice comfortable 75 here in Fargo. Bobby, it's going to become even more comfortable and a little bit unsettled as we head into the weekend. I'll have your forecast in just a little bit.
All right, Summer, thank you so much. I'll take a 75 any day of the week. Well, Moorhead Public Schools says that the bus driver shortage may impact high school sporting events. Now, this issue has been growing in the area, according to Moorhead High, especially since many of their sports and activities travel many hours outside of town. While they were able to avoid cancellations this week, they are taking it week by week to address these issues.
We just weren't able to come up with solutions. So that's when maybe the panic button got pushed on my end of it a little bit more than it has in the past.
For more information on the bus driver shortage situation, go to valleynewslive.com and click on this story. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is defending the education department and how it handled food fraud allegations during the pandemic. Prosecutors say that millions meant for hungry kids went to buy luxury homes and cars instead. The judge came out on last Friday saying that he did not issue a written court order to resume the payments amid the legal fight with Feeding Our Future, as Walz suggested last week. At issue is the court case was processing applications for Feeding Our Future sites, not payment.
I know that in my time here, there's never been a state agency had a contempt of court filed. So we're nervous, we're rule followers, we're trying to get this right, but my gripe is not with the court, it's with, and again, that's the interpretation on this. I mean, that's what the lawyers all thought, that's what it meant.
Now, Republicans accuse the Education Department and the Attorney General of not doing more to stop the alleged fraud and are seeking more answers of the timeline of what led up to the indictments of dozens of people in the case last week. Well, debate over the potential tracking of gun purchases has one of America's leading financial corporations weighing in. It comes as gun control advocates and lawmakers speak out. Nicole Newman has the story.
And I think it's dangerous.
Missouri Senator Josh Hawley strongly disagrees with the plans of Visa, MasterCard, and American Express to use a new merchant code to categorize gun purchases. In a tweet on September 13th, calling it, quote, a big threat to Second Amendment rights. On the same day Hawley posted his tweet, he also sent a letter to credit card company CEOs asking them to reconsider.
Unless they wanted to at some point be able to interfere. And we know that's the case. We know there's no real business reason for it because they haven't ever done it.
Previously, gun sales were categorized under merchant codes as general or miscellaneous. That's despite merchant codes existing for a wide range of products and services, including beauty salons, bowling alleys, and bakeries. I reached out to Visa for comment and was sent a link to a blog post titled Protecting Legal Commerce. In it, Visa writes the new merchant code is from a global standard-setting organization that established the code for gun and ammunition stores. Visa says in part, many misunderstood the company was advocating the use of the code to track gun sales as a potential tool in combating gun violence. But gun control advocates say the code is an opportunity for the financial sector to do its part in preventing gun tragedies.
Everybody in the country, every industry in the country has a role to play in helping ameliorate this problem.
Nick Suplina is the Senior Vice President for Law and Policy at Everytown for Gun Safety, the country's largest gun violence prevention organization.
What this new merchant category code can do, if implemented properly, is prevent tragedy like domestic terrorism or horrific acts of mass shootings and armed extremism.
Gun control advocates say the 2016 Pulse nightclub shooting is an example. A New York Times investigation found the gunman used 6 credit cards to buy 2 guns and thousands of rounds of ammunition before killing 49 people and injuring 53 others.
There could be more regulations in the future for credit card companies and banks in general. Last week, the CEOs of America's 7 largest banks testified at length before key congressional committees. The Fargo Public School District is reminding families that the grace period for free and reduced lunch is ending soon. Houses that qualify during the 2021-2022 school year have continued to receive those benefits at the beginning of this school year, but that grace period will end on October 8th, and if families have not reapplied, they will lose those benefits. To apply for free and reduced price meals, we have a link at valleynewslive.com and on our VNL News app. Well, for the first time since the COVID-19 lockdown, the Supreme Court will partially reopen to the public next week. The court said people will be able to attend oral arguments when the new term begins on Monday. But visitors will still not be able to tour the building, view exhibits, or visit the cafeteria and gift shop. The court will continue to live stream audio of arguments, a practice which began during the pandemic. And officially starting today, you can now cast your ballot early as absentee voting is underway in North Dakota for the general election. Now at the polls, you'll be voting for things such as the race for governor, term limits on state lawmakers, and legalizing recreational marijuana. There are other county races going on as well. And for those that are absentee voting, completed ballots must be postmarked before November 7th. If you missed that deadline, officials recommend that ballots be dropped off at the Cass County Courthouse. Well, one way that you can help people impacted by Hurricane Ian right now is to donate blood. During large-scale disasters, blood drives in the affected area are canceled and people in Florida aren't able to donate. But the Fargo Fire and Police Departments are currently facing off in a Battle of the Badges blood drive. The friendly competition is happening today from 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock at the American Red Cross office in North Fargo. If you'd like to donate, you can schedule an appointment by calling 1-800-RED-CROSS or visiting redcrossblood.org and entering the code or the sponsor code Fargo Battle.